What's going on, people? It's Mr. Back again with the review show. And yet again, I think I'm getting bored of this now. I'm getting bored of it. Every time I come to do a review show, we win. Every time we lose, I give it Des. So this time, it's my show today. So
this is it. This is why I don't get a look in anymore.
So yeah, as you know, Forest won yet again. 2-0 win at Blackburn. I've got the panel in, so we're going to start with next to me. We've got Steve Oldham. How you doing, Steve?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Jolly.
Buzzing.
I am jolly.
Buzzing. I just think, just for all your viewers, I think it has to be done. Come on, boys.
As you know,
Derby today playing this with the windows down. Come on, let's have a party. We're going up.
You need a beatbox, Steve. We can't hear it.
Steve, you need a beatbox. What? You can't do the phone.
I can't compete with Jack Colback Jr. You know, I ain't got a big box down there.
As you know, Steve is talking about the guy at the end of the game with a beatbox, and the question is, how the hell did he get a beatbox into the ground? That is mad. Next up, we got Worrall Steve. How you doing, Worrall Steve?
I'm all good. Yeah. Good bed.
And last but not least, we got the man himself, Des Oldham, Do Daily. The man, look how happy he is. He was. If you're not some vlog, I've never seen a guy so jolly coming out of the ground. It was worse. Like I do my scream, but he's come out screaming his head off. Okay, that's
I
Des.
did see. I watched it earlier.
It's hilarious though because somebody actually recognised me for Do Daily, not DoreOnTour. As we know, somebody shouted Do Daily across the car park, so I was like, I finished. I made it.
So yeah, everyone knows who Des is now. So I can just, I might quit YouTube now and just forget about everything. But yeah, we're going to talk about the game. But before we do start, like I've mentioned before the panel, before we do start, a big announcement came out this Monday, this morning, regarding a massive show coming up, and I'm happy to announce that I've got Kevin Campbell. He's coming to South Bank on the April the 28th, Thursday. So if people want to come to it, please message me on any social medias. Message me. You can message Des. And we'll connect you with Lisa Fox. She's the one that's dealing with everything. So if anyone wants any tickets for Kevin Campbell on the 28th, or Thursday the 28th of April, please contact me towards Des, and Kevin Campbell will be coming to Nottingham to see everyone. So like I said, contact everyone and we'll see from there. Right. Let's start. Like I said, Forest won 2-0, and I'm going to start with Steve. No, let me start with the Do Daily, because we went to the game, and like I said, he's got the biggest smirk on his face. And Des, talk to me, man. What a result!
I'm still buzzing, Dord. You know, it was brilliant. I watched it again this afternoon. You know, because that's what we do. And I'm tired because it was a late night, but it was worth every bit of road work. Delay, you know, everything that went off. It was just brilliant, wasn't it? I watched the game and I don't think it did Forest justice, to be honest. I thought we was comfortable throughout. You know, it looks like when you watch it back, that Blackburn had made it a real good game. It was a good game, don't get me wrong. It was a good advert for the Championship. But we looked comfortable all over the pitch right from the start. We got in front. There was a little bit when they went down to 10 that they upped the game. They pressed on. You know, what else could they do? But ultimately, it always looked like we was going to get the second yesterday, and that's not always the case with Forest in the
exactly.
And that's the most pleasing thing for me. I was talking on something earlier as well, saying that, you know, it's not a fluke anymore, is it? These away results, beating Premier League teams, you know, they're deemed as cup shocks. It's not a cup shock, because we're out playing them, you know, with a better side against them. It's becoming something, and I've been confident for a while that we was going to get the playoffs, but I'm sure we're going to get round to second place. But I'm just really confident we can have a stab at it. You know, it's probably out of our reach. It's probably too much, too late. But I'm just buzzing because I'm going into every single game knowing that Super Cooper's tactics can get us the result we need. And again, it was a classic case of that. Individual performances were fantastic. You know, James Garner for me, last 2-3 games, it's just he looked incredible all of a sudden, and things like that where players have had a tough time and then they're coming into this kind of form, it's just making me smile.
Yeah.
Look forward to the rest of the season.
Steve, Steve Oliver, he said he spoke to me not like I think I don't know when it was. I think it's the first time he came on here, and he said to me, "Forest will be in the playoffs," and eat my words, we're in the playoffs, and even Steve's grinning, and look at him, he can't help himself. Steve, talk to me, man. Like, I look like a twat now. Look like a twat.
Right, I'm going to say something now that I'm most probably going to get shot down here. But yesterday, when I was at work, I work in Birmingham, all right, with Birmingham fans, and they said, "What do you think tonight? This is a tough game." And I just went, "We ain't going to get beat. We ain't going to get beat." And I shook my shoulders and walked out. And I didn't think we were going to get beat last night. I really didn't think we were going to get beat. We have got the best manager that we've had in 23 years. Yeah. Steve Cooper. Now, everyone goes on about Spence playing in the Premier League, rightly so. Johnson playing in the Premier League, rightly so. Garner, going to be Premier League class. Our manager is going to manage in the Premier League. And I hope it's with us. And I do believe, and I said it, Dore, to you, I think it was it October or something? I said, October. We are going, and I told you laughed at me when I said, I booked my hotel for the playoff final.
I did.
I booked it in October. I got the greatest deal going. Do you know what I mean? I booked the playoff final hotel before I booked my hotel for Blackpool. Do you know what I mean? So I just think we're going to do it. I just think we're going to do it. And after watching them on Sunday, and everyone is just, for the first time for a long time, the whole club, from the CEO to the owner to the manager to Andy Reid, Gary Brazil, are all moving in the same direction, and you've just got that togetherness. 2 photos last night. The one of Yates and Worrall at the end.
Yeah, that was an amazing picture.
Said it all for me. Said it all for me. And I can't wait till May the 28th. When the playoff final's there, I shall be there with my shirt. Here we go, Wembley.
People in the comments. Are you in Steve's camp? Do you think we'll get there? Right now, like, let me talk to Steve, and I'll get my vote in a minute. Like, Steve, like, what? How are you feeling at this moment about Forest?
Probably haven't felt like this since Billy Davis, 2 back-to-back playoff seasons. You get that buzz now, don't you, every day, like after the game. Like today, I was up in Nottingham today on my job, and it's just like, I don't know, like Steve said, the whole club, you just feel like watching the videos of fans. It's just everyone is just buzzing. It's like so happy, and we haven't had this since maybe the exception of Sabri Lamucci season, when we had that bit of a spike where we did kind of well, but we haven't had this buzz in years. I can't remember having this. Just think now, we're on the cusp now of potentially going to Wembley twice.
No. 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah, we could. Well, if we get right, I'm not jumping again, right? If we could beat Huddersfield, okay, and get a decent draw in the quarters, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, Ben, we could be going to Wembley. Maybe the exception if we get City or Liverpool in a semi, because I think
we'll beat them.
Maybe a step too far. No,
we'll beat
maybe
them.
not City, but
listen, Steve. We beat Arsenal. We beat Leicester. Why can't we beat anyone else? I know.
Yeah, but
can I just say one
thing? Like, sorry. What I know, and I said a point on the group yesterday about the Cardiff game, and I think at the moment, the only way I can see us losing a game, and teams have to get us on a bad day. I can't. Maybe the exception of Fulham in this league. I can't see a team who can play us off the park, who we can walk off and say, and they're the better team. You look at the games we lost. Middlesbrough away, we had a stinker. Huddersfield home, we missed a hatful of chances. Cardiff away, we were dreadful. Then we were there, we were awful.
Yeah.
So every game we go into now, we have to be off. We have to have an off day for them to beat us, and that gives me confidence that, like Steve said, and Des said about the Cooper effect. It's just I go into every game now confident, and if we play bad, it just seems like we're going to lose. But how many times we've lost since Cooper's come in? Like 4 times. We've had 4 off games. It's incredible.
Before I do get on, I've got a super chat and from Lee. Thank you very much, Lee, for the £1.79. So the question is from Lee. So realistic, where do you think you'll finish?
Both.
I'm not going to answer that yet. I think later on in the show, I will answer that because
I'm saying 4th.
Right. Okay. Right. People in the comments. Right. Let me get out of the way. Okay, out of the way. And Forest in the playoffs now. I said to Malcolm yesterday on the way back, because it's going to be there's going to be ups and downs from now to the end of the season, but it's not going to matter because we're in 6th place now. I said if Forest stay from now till end of in the middle of April, we'll stay in the top 8, and we stay in the playoff bit. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll make playoffs because I think these next games are massive for Forest. Because we've got Stoke, Bournemouth. Who else we got next?
Preston,
tough games. Sheffield United. So I personally think I'll give my opinion. I think Forest will finish in playoffs. I'm going for it. I'll go for 3rd. I'll go for. I'm going for 3rd.
I think it's going to be. I think Fulham and Bournemouth will go up automatic, and I think it'll be us. My prediction is Blackburn, Forest, Borough, and I'm going to say Sheffield United will make a late push.
People in the comments, what do you think? Where do you think Forest will finish? I'm going to go for you, Des. You're next. Where do you think Forest will finish?
I just listened to what Steve said, and do you know what? I'm going to contradict what I said earlier. Do you know, if you ask me for a position where I think Forest will finish, I'll say 2nd. I think it's a massive ask, but and I know it doesn't sometimes. Previous form doesn't count for much, and the fact Cooper said yesterday, the first time we beat a top 3 team the last 3 years, last 2 years or something like that. So it's going to be tough, but we just keep winning football matches, and that's all we can do. And if we go to Bournemouth and perform the way we did yesterday, which I believe we're fully capable of, they're not the team they were earlier in the season. You know, they're still doing okay. They're still likely to finish in that 2nd place. If we go and get a result there, you know, and just they're 6 pointers against these teams now. So whilst they're tough, what I'm trying to get to is each one of them we pick off, you know, it's just another position maybe in the league. So if you're asking for an exact position, I won't really go away from 2nd.
Des going for it. Wow.
Like Steve Oldham, I was early in saying we'll get the playoffs. When we got beat 4-0 by Fulham, I keep reminding people of that. So I'm confident we can give it a push. When you were talking about 3rd, 4th, 5th, this and that, these teams are better. I'm not sure many of those teams are better than us. Looking in from afar, you know, it's easy to say that, but it's easy to sort of look as well and think they've not got players that compared to some of ours. You know, Spence and Brennan Johnson are a different level than anything in the league. Anything Fulham have got, anything Sheffield United have got, they are Premier League. And again, it's not a fluke. I was kind of thinking, is this a fluke? Is this because a big move's potentially happening in January? But it just keeps happening and happening and happening again. You know, and when we lose 1, we win 4.
Yeah.
If we keep doing that, we're going to have blips. We're going to lose games. We're going to have Cardiff. Cardiff was a bit of a worry in how we came back against Leicester. But look what we did against Leicester. I think this guy we've got in charge, He's just completely different to anything we've had for, Steve said, 23 years. You know, he gets it absolutely spot on. We've gone from what I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 games. I mentioned the fact that when we went to the likes of Swansea, you know, he tried to defend for half an hour, 40 minutes. First half, it was all about getting into the second half, going and attacking them and nicking the game. All of a sudden, we're killing teams in the first 20 minutes. You know, Leicester, Blackburn, we didn't have the goals to show for it, but I thought we was completely in control of that match. Whereas in that period up to Christmas, we were struggling to stay in games, but we were nicking the result. Now we're blowing teams apart in the first half, and then in the second half, finishing them off. That's always been a problem, hasn't it? Even whilst we've been good, is finishing teams off, getting that second and third goal. All of a sudden, it's happening. I don't think many can compete with us. So if you want an exact position, I'm sticking my neck out for a second.
Bloody hell. People in the comments, do you agree with Des? Second place. Wow. I can't believe that. I've asked you, Steve. Steve, hold on. Go on, right. Steve next, but before we talk about Blackburn game. Go on, Steve.
Well, I actually think we are dead similar to what Aston Villa were about 3 seasons when they went up.
Did I say that to you lot? Yeah. Did I say it?
Look at the stats, the way we're playing. I think Forest and Villa are like that. Yeah, when they went up. Changed the manager early. Yeah, they brought Dean Smith in. We brought Stevie Cooper in. I'd love to say second, but I think we'll finish 4th. And I think we'll go up by the playoffs. I think this is the one why we'll go up the playoffs. I think Cooper, Swansea. Can you remember when he picked us with that? He got to the semi-final. Last year he got to the final and lost, and I think it's just on the cards. 3rd time lucky, finally wins. The only thing I'm sceptical about, and I've seen a couple of people put it down, if Middlesbrough get to the final, we lose Spence, we can't play him, or Sheffield United, we can't play Low. But do you know what I like about Cooper's attitude? You know, when Grabban went out and we lost him, he said, okay, he's out, but that's someone else's chance now to make it. Yeah. And you look at David. I mean, Kieran Davis, that first goal yesterday, oh my God.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, it was like a tank running at them, weren't it? They just weren't going to, you know.
You know what it is, Steve? And I'm quite a lot of Forest fans, again, when we signed him, everyone was sceptical about him because they wanted that the Middlesbrough player from the Arsenal player who's gone to Middlesbrough, and everyone was skeptical. Oh, David's not got a good record. He doesn't score goals. He's just a guy that holds the ball up, blah blah. He's made a massive difference with Forest, and I think he's got the best out of Johnson, because Zink, because he does all the bullying. He bullies the centre backs and lets Brennan do all the work and scores the goals. And I think as Forest fans, we're going to think, oh wow, we was all wrong. Most of them, I remember social media why we're signing him. So,
and the lad from Stoke, he looks as if
he looks a good player as well. That's player we're going to mention. That's no player we're going to mention later on in the show. Well, let's talk about yesterday's game. And like I said, we won 2-0. And Steve, well, Steve, and like I said, Des mentioned about we're 1-0 up, and we like I said, they had little spells, but when they got the guy sent off, but they had little spells. But then we wanted to get that second goal, and it's happening over and over again. We're not shy to attack, and we've missed that for a while, haven't we, Steve?
Yeah, the game last night did everything really, didn't it? It was good, be a good watch for the neutral. But there was a couple. I know it's a bit of a negative spin in it, but just one thing I would say that second goal, I think you said in your vlog, Ben, that I think Malcolm said next to you, we just need that second goal. And when we were missing chances, I just thought, I hope this don't bite us now. Because Blackburn was trying to force us into their game. They were getting niggly, they were getting dirty, they were trying to wind up our players. Samba was getting wound up because their fans were throwing bottles at him. The only slight worry in the game, Callback, I thought he's on the edge here.
He's on the edge.
He was on the edge. And there was a moment in the first half. Do you remember when we switched off and they took that quick free kick? there was a couple of times we should just put our foot through it and clear our lines. But other than that, we always look capable of scoring that second goal. And when it did come, Sturridge made a massive difference when he came on. We've actually got physicality now in the team.
Yeah,
and
we've missed that, man. We've missed that.
We've missed big lumps, we've missed the likes of, we keep on going about him, like the Matt Smiths of this world, big physical players.
David. I think the last person we had as a big lump, Antonio, and I don't know if another player that. Who was it? I think it was under Billy Davis. The second, we had George Boyd.
Adebola
as well. I've missed that. We've missed that kind of player.
You just think over the years we haven't had a massive presence on the pitch. We've said it many times on these podcasts. It's like we've lacked nastiness, bit of physicality, front up, and now we've got play like Davis just struts around and players are just bouncing off him. That goal, there was 3 Blackburn players around him and he just got through them. It reminded me of Antonio. If you watch it back, it just reminisces little things, glimpses of it. And, like I said, like the game last night, I'm just so glad we got that second goal, because even though Blackburn didn't really, pen us in, it was funny that when they had the player sent off, they upped their game because they had nothing to lose. They had to go for it. Now, what I would say, if it was 0-0, they would have played for the draw. They would have been happy with a point. But because they were 1-0 down, they had to go for it. Hence why then we got behind and we were counter-attacking our pace. So, I'm just so glad we had that second goal to kill them off, because I was screaming at the TV, please just bury one of these chances. I was like, it was doing my head in. I was just like, please just score that. Because I had a feeling they were going to nick one at the end. But, we took the point, so.
Des, like I said, this player keeps getting better and better and better. I think I spoke to you about your James Garner, and we've been missing that number 10. And James Garner, when he come, he wasn't great. He didn't really start under Cooper at the start. It was Colback and Yates. He's come in, and he's put that number 10 role as his own. And yesterday he proved everyone that he can play that role. And there's again, it's that goal. He just composure as well.
Brilliant, mate. And I said to you that the thing about playing Garner in that role a bit further up the pitch is he doesn't have to do the stuff he's not very good at. He was playing in that poor team at the start of the season where he was running around too deep, a bit like an headless chicken at times. And now he's getting into the game. And we know the number 10 is the playmaker. That's what James Garner wants to be. Give him the ball, let him do things. You can see his confidence. You can physically see his confidence building each game. The way he scored that goal, he wouldn't have done that 6 months ago. It was brilliant. And I thought he was so he wasn't spoken about enough after the Leicester game. I thought Leicester was his best game for Forest. I thought he was absolutely awesome. And last night, just sort of making those runs in. He's a bit more dynamic than Zinkernagel at times. I like Zinkernagel. For me, Zinkernagel is a proper footballer, like a street footballer. But Garner's just got that little bit of guile, that little bit of extra quality. Of course, he's come through Man U, But I thought earlier in the season that he was going to fade away, a bit like he did at Watford. But he's playing it in an attacking team. He needs to be playing in an attacking position. And he was absolutely brilliant. And I think he controlled the game. And I know what Steve said there and yourself, it looked a bit nervy at times. I think we controlled it. And the reason I'm confident is because I know from playing football growing up, when you're not good enough to compete, you start fouling. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I was always too fat to play midfield, but I did. Right? And all I'd do was foul. And all Blackburn did at one point, and I tweeted it out during the game, we'd rattled them. They were just fouling. They were just fouling everyone. Moby was jumping up and down like a twat on the sideline. And we really got under the skin. And this is a team that got the best home record in the Championship. They're not conceded in 7 of the last 10 games at home. And we really, really got to them. They didn't offer very much going forward, I thought. They needed a James Garner in their team because they had Brereton and the other guy way too far wide. And it just made our job that little bit easier. I thought we was completely in control of that match last night. And as for James Garner, he's just getting better and better, isn't he?
100%, 100%. Steve Oldham, Dad just mentioned Brereton, and everyone's seen it. He's been fantastic for Blackburn for the whole season, but he spent most of the time on the left-hand side. But far from that, the whole back three, or you can say five, nothing. They didn't really do. He didn't really do much, did he, Steve?
No disrespect, Ben. He weren't going to get much change out of them three, was them five? You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, I was talking to a Forest fan the other day actually, and just before the Derby game, could you remember that Worrall couldn't make it because he had these ribs problem? You know, he had the ribs problem, didn't he? And he was out for 6 weeks and everything like that. And everyone was going, "Oh, well, it's all right. We've got Steve Cook and this, that, and the other and everything." But for me, the Leicester game at the back, how important is Joe Worrall?
Yeah.
How important is Joe Worrall? And I was having a debate today. There was 3 lads yesterday in that starting lineup that came from the academy: Worrall, Johnson, and Yates. All right. How much, if you wanted to buy them 3, and I know people are going to have a go at Ryan Yates because for some unknown reason Ryan Yates is the bashing boy, if I don't know why.
All the time.
But you won't get much change. You know, Johnson, Worrall, and Yates, you won't get much change, you know, out of, 35 million current market value if you went for them 3? Would you want that?
That'd mean Yates going on a free, wouldn't it? Because it was. That'd mean Yates on a free because Johnson's worth 20 and Worrall's worth 15.
Well, okay, 35, 40 million, you know.
Absolutely.
But Worrall, for me, he I mean, that tackle with his head against Leicester.
Wow, that was amazing.
It just, you know, and no disrespect, Brereton, he come up against 3 good defenders. And I've got to say this. I'm going to say this because I'm going to say this every time. McKenna.
My boy.
You know what? I give up just giving him so much praise.
Do you know what everyone's forgetting, right? When he stepped in that game, the block he made from Gallagher's shot was unbelievable. I don't know what to do we had at the ground, boys, but on TV, right, that block, where he came from, I do not know. He just flung himself in front of that ball, and in the first half, they got in behind, and he blocked it as he cleared it off the line as well, didn't he, or on the post? The guy is absolutely unbelievable.
But the Scottish fans, they don't rate him.
Oh.
Can I just say about Brereton, though? I said to you and DJ before the game, I thought he'd get into Worrall. Do you know, Worrall's got rib problems. I thought he'd get stuck in. Do you know, I was really disappointed with Brereton. And not that I wanted him to play well, but I expected a tougher game for Forest.
Yeah.
And he was just anonymous. He was too far wide. Back in the day, you used to want your 2 strikers playing close together. And I know it's a different game. But he kind of plonked himself between Worrall and Spence and just sat in no man's land. So when the ball came to him, one of them either backed in and headed it away, or Worrall came over the top of him, and he weren't really a physical presence. It made it very easy. And then the guy was right on the other side. They had no focal point. And it just made it very easy. All the points the guy said about the defending, because I actually think we actually defended really well. Despite the fact I don't think they particularly hurt us in many ways. We made them look poorer than they actually were. McKenna's brilliant. Cook had a really good game as well.
He did. You know? It was my man of the match. Well, I said it earlier now, but it was my man of the match. And wow. Well, come on, Des.
Did I? Oh.
But yeah, the thing about Brereton, I thought he'd offer a real physical. I thought he'd get stuck into Worrall. Do you know, the first thing you do is dig him in the ribs or something, you know, or upset him in that sense. And I don't know if there was a bit of too much respect on Brereton's part for the players that he probably grew up around, because he just weren't. He looked like the player we had. He looked like the player we had, rather than the player that's gone on to score 25 goals for them.
Yeah.
Can I just say something quickly? Did anyone? I watched it on. I think I watched it last night. Actually, the highlights of the Leicester game on Match of the Day. Dion Dublin said about our back 3. He says Forest have got 3 centre backs who defend with their hearts but can play football.
Yeah.
Bring the ball out.
Yeah.
He says, and that's what he said. He said they've got 3 centre backs that will throw their body in front of that ball, but when they've got the ball at their feet, they don't just do it, they bring it out. You know, they give it to like Spence, Lowe, and Johnson, and that's the difference with these centre backs.
Yeah,
you know.
100% agree with that.
It's another one, isn't it, Steve? Where I mentioned Johnson and Spence. You look at the centre backs, you wouldn't change that for the world. You wouldn't change that for anybody else. So there's 5 players, and I believe we've got the best goalkeeper. There's 6 players you wouldn't change, and I wouldn't change the others.
No.
But there's 6 players who you just think are better than what anybody else has got.
100%.
Hungry and everything. I think.
Yeah. I was looking at the comments, and there's one mention about Ryan Yates, and like I said, everyone used to be slagging him off, and there's one. There's shout out to Quiz. Shout out to Ryan Yates. I never rated him, thought he was a bit reckless, but integral to the team. He's improved. The season has been unbelievable. He has, and he has. He's been. The guy's had so much stick. So for I'll say 3-4 years, because he's played on under every manager. Steve Cooper's come in and he's got the best out of him, and but it is what it is. But it's just ridiculous. I'm gonna say about this is for you, Steve Welsh. And like we've got Grabbins out. Like but Jono and Davis are playing fantastic. I don't miss like Grabbin. Yeah, he's been fantastic for us. But do we miss him? I don't miss him. Like he's not like. Yeah, I miss Grabbin.
Yeah. But is it a fact you're not missing?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But is it a case of you're not missing because you're playing so well?
Yeah.
You know, if we had a bit of a wobble, you'd be like, oh, we need him back. But what's going to happen when he does come back? It's only going to add strength and depth going to the latter end of the season. And this is what we need, because we all know, boys, we've been there. When it comes to the last couple of games, the playoffs, we need that squad. We need our top players there. We need the strength and depth. We need our best 11 out on that pitch. And we just got to go and grab him he is in the setup. When he comes back, they probably start on the bench. But if Davis carries on, one thing I would say is with the Davis, discussion is he to the level of grab him of getting the goals? Like he had a few chances last night, he didn't take them. It's the only criticism of him. He cut in once, didn't he, in the first half, and he skied it. Just little things like that, which, we look at it. So, would you put Graben back in, which would get you goals, or would you put? So it's a good dilemma for Cooper to have.
People in the comments, what would you think? Do you think, like if Graben comes back, I think he's back in 3 weeks' time or 4 weeks' time? But yeah, sorry, Ben. One more point. I think you've got to just weigh up who you're playing against.
So if you're playing against, a team you want to scare, put Davis in. More technical player, put Graben in. You just got to play who's in front of you, really, and play to the,
Do you know what, though, Steve? I think with Graben, we'd rather have him there than not there, because the only thing that's going to derail us this season, I believe, obviously I've made some bold predictions. The only thing that's going to derail us is injuries, isn't it? So if Davis got injured, it's a massive, massive loss again, because he's become such a focal point. Of course, Surridge has come in and he's an upgrade. An interesting tweet I seen yesterday. He's a massive upgrade on Lyle Taylor. And I'm not blaming Taylor. I'm just for what we needed from that sub, effectively what he became. We needed somebody to do what Surridge is doing around the pitch. So again, you've got 2 players who are strong and physical, but like Steve said, in certain games at certain times, you need the finisher. You need you need the talisman. And especially should another injury come, because it's going to leave us light again.
Before I could go, there's some guy that he watched my ex Nottingham Forest strikers. He's put a comment on it. If people know it's David Johnson. It's some guy from Forest. Great show, chaps. Still buzzing from last night. David Johnson's in the house. Shout out to Jono.
DJ.
What? I'm say again.
He's one of our own. Brennan Johnson is one of our own.
Yeah, shout to Jono. I saw him before the game. He didn't wear his orange coat yesterday. But but shout to Jono. Thank you for watching, Mister. Right, we're talking about I'm talking about Brendan as well, and we mentioned with Brendan alongside Davis, and he's getting better and better. He's confident every time we go forward. He'd be Brennan, Gardner, even Lowe, Spence. Going forward, it just makes
Ben, you know why? Sorry, Ben, just you know why? Because Davis attracts so many players into him, it frees up the other players because he's such a physical presence on the pitch. Players just suck into that first goal. 3 Blackburn players around him.
That was insane.
That was mad.
I just couldn't believe he got through.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to talk about you mentioned about. I think it was you, Steve Oldham, about for the last 23 years. We've had the best manager. I personally we've had Billy Davis be talking back-to-back playoffs, but I personally think we've not seen this since Paul Hart.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, we had Jim Brennan and Lewis Young, wingers. We had Marlon Hayward and David Johnson as strikers as well. We had Dan Huckabee, he came in January. That team was amazing. And I personally think, because with Billy Davis, he was a great manager in the first, second spell, but sometimes when it comes to away games, we'll lose 1-0. And small results like that. And that's why I think we've not had a good manager since Paul Hart. But I don't know what's...
Billy Davis also made a few weird decisions with his selections. Like in the playoffs against Swansea, he didn't start Earnshaw.
Yeah, spot on. Like yeah, I was there when that team came out at Swansea, and we were all scratching our heads, going, "What?" Has anyone seen the podcast with? I think it's Lewis McGugan, I think, and he says that Billy Davis's selection in that playoff, he was scratching his head. He didn't understand when he looked at the team sheet.
Oh yeah, but who was it? Was it David McGoldrick, Gareth McCleary,
Nathan Tyson?
And Nathan Tyson, yeah.
Earnshaw, and was it Boyd?
Boyd, they were on the bench.
On the bench, and everyone was like, "What?"
Earnshaw came on and scored, and then he hit the post. Then,
yeah.
He changed the game. Yeah,
but I think Cooper's just Billy Davis was a good manager. For all his hysterics and for whatever you've just said there. Paul Hart, to some degree, he had a very good team in the end, and he played some great football. But the away games sometimes were questionable. This is why I'm really, really impressed with Cooper. This is why Cooper's going all the way, because he still changes the team. Zinkenangel had a great game on Sunday. He didn't play, He put Garner in a role and he brought Colback back in, So he's still going to make the odd big decision, but he just finds the team to play the opponents, and it doesn't matter whether they're home or away. I think we're actually better going away from home at the moment. It's the games at home to Stoke that worry me. The more winnable things, because there's a bit more sort of expectation and again, it's more about motivation in those kind of games. His tactics are absolutely bang on the money. This guy's going all the way. I said the one good thing, if we get to the Premier League, he'll be deemed an unfashionable manager, and the big clubs won't come for him. There's no point in leaving at this stage to a Brighton or a Brentford or something like that, because we're a bigger club, and he knows that. He's fell in love with the club. He's fell in love with the ethos. But he's also absolutely brilliant at what he does. And comparing him to Davis now, post Paul Hart, Davis would have been the best manager in terms of how he dealt with players, especially the media and all that was rubbish. But he's shown that we can forget about Billy Davis again in those couple of seasons, and we can really look forward to something quite special again.
I actually think Steve Cooper is better than Davis and Paul Hart already.
That's basically what I was saying.
I'm putting it out there now.
Comment. What do you think? Do you agree with Steve Oldham? There's 124 people in here. Do you agree with Steve Oldham what he says?
I think my opinion on that. I felt sorry for Paul Hart in a way, though. He had a hell of a team. But then he got let down. That team got dismantled then in the second season. We didn't sign Huckabee. You know, had the players left and the recruitment was poor.
We can Skimmick left as well.
Jim Brennan went to Norwich. You know, all in then better players left. So I kind of felt sorry for Paul Hart. But Billy Davies, like Des said with the media thing, was. But one thing I would say about Billy Davies and Steve Cooper, well, they have got something in common, is that connection with the fans.
Yeah.
They are making that mentality of us against them. And Billy Davies, he used to come over to us as well, didn't he? And you know, with A Block and all that, and G the fans up. It's just that connection, and that's what Cooper and Davies have got in connection with each other. Is that, you know, they respond to the fans, and they know it's us against them, and that's what I like. You know, it's us against the world. And Cooper, if you listen to his interviews before every game, he says, "Right, that's them, but we've got to focus on ourselves." Yeah. We've had too many managers over the years going, I worry about them. No, don't worry about them. Worry about ourselves.
Can I just say one thing about Billy Davies?
Yes, Stephen, go on.
You say Paul Hart was let down. I totally agree, Steve. He was let down. All right, this side was dismantled. So was Billy Davies in his first spell. When he kept us up.
Shorey. Yeah.
Nicky Shorey.
Mark Arthur. I've seen a comment.
Davies down. That's all Billy Davies wanted was that left back spot filled by Nicky Shorey.
Ben knows my opinion on this. If we had signed Nicky Shorey, we would have gone up that season.
We would have done, because we put no disrespect to the lad. Did we put James Perch there? He was playing right back, and I think Nicky Shorey went back the day before we played Derby, and we'd won, what was it, 20 odd matches? We hadn't been beaten, and they beat us 1-0.
Rovers, 1-0,
yeah. Do you know what I mean? And they were.
You always felt with the Billy Davies era, though, that he just, like you said, Steve, he just always felt he wanted to push us on, but he was always held back. He always wanted the extra signing, but he just couldn't get them. And with Steve Cooper, he's already come out and said now he wants Jed Wallace in the summer. So already he's planning this summer the recruitment he wants for next season. That's his number one target, is Jed Wallace.
I think Jed Wallace is going to cut it in the Premier League, though.
You know what? I think that's another topic. That's another subject we could talk about later on the show. Because
apparently, if you what Steve Cooper said, Steve Cooper wants a winger who's high scoring. He wants this high scoring winger in his squad. So I don't know, would Jed Wallace cut in the Premier League? That's a debate, you know. Has he ever been tested in the Premier League? He hasn't, so we'll never know.
There's 20 people here, and I said before the show started, people, I said I've got a big announcement that I got Kevin Campbell coming to Nottingham on Thursday, the 28th of April. So people, if you want your tickets, message me, message Mr. Do Daily Des. It's going to be a fantastic show. He's coming to South Bank City. Is it Des? South Bank City.
South Bank City on the 28th of April, isn't it? Or before the last home game of the season, promotion party starts early.
So people, if you want to see the legend Kevin Campbell at himself, there's I think it's £20 for standing, and then for special one it's £65, but it's all worth it. It's going to be a great show. So people, if you do want to go, you message me, you message Des, and it's good from there. But it's good. Like I said, it's going to be a fantastic show. I said, it's one people. Like, if you want to ask any questions regarding Forest and this game, please do. Like I said, it's all about you lot. It's you lot we come see. We talk about Forest, we love, and like I said, we're in fantastic form. And like I said, since Chris Hughton, everyone was like depressed. I was depressed, Forest depressed, and now we're going, like Des mentioned, that we're going to away games, feeling like we can win the games. When I spoke to Ryan from Blackburn fan, I said to him, I'm going to Blackburn feeling we can win the game, and it happened. We won the game easy, and that's you, Steve Oldham. Like I said, we're in the playoffs now. These next games, like I said, we've got Stoke, we've got Bournemouth. If we can get results against these teams, like you said, you said, I think you said second, didn't you? But this is Steve Cooper. He's made a massive statement in there. Like the Bournemouth game, I think it's a big statement, a massive statement. Like I said, I think we got back. I think didn't get back. Was it 4-1, 4-0 last season? I think it was. But this is a point it does. It means Steve for us to like get big results against Stoke and Bournemouth. English Steve.
Oh right, okay. Well, I think with the next 3 games Stoke, Bournemouth, and Preston.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get 7 points out of them 3.
You're confident?
Yeah, I am. I'm just there's something about this team. I'm sorry. There's something about this team. It's probably the. I mean, look, I'm quite old. I've seen Forest win the European Cup. I've seen us go to Wembley. I've seen us get relegated. I've seen us go to League One.
Steve Alder, we're going to Wembley 3 times.
I know.
We're going.
There is something special about this team. I've never felt it in 23 years. I said on Sunday when someone said to me, "What do you think the score will be?" 4-1. What happened? 4-1. I've been saying since October that we are going to win the playoffs. I ain't changing it. I've promised my wife if we get promoted by the playoffs.
Wait. Before I do, Steve Oram said to me, he'd bet he had with his wife. So Steve, tell everyone, the 129 people, what was your bet with your wife?
I said to my wife after the Derby game that we are going up and we are going to the Premier League. And when we get promoted this year by the playoffs, I am having a tattoo on my backside with her name on it. She's now looking at designs.
People.
That's an image in one, really.
People comments. I personally think there's 131 people in. I know that there's some kids in there as well, but I think, should I do a bet? Because I hate tattoos. And I remember if Amanda's watching this.
Film it live.
If Amanda's watching this, because I remember.
Be careful.
Be careful. I need to be careful with this one. On the next stream, right? But what I'll do, I'll think about it because, like I said, I hate tattoos. Steve's doing a bet. We're going to tattoo of his wife on his arse. I might do a bet or something. But if Forrest, I'll think about it. But yeah, people.
I told you, Ben, you've got to wear a ginger wig as well. After all the bashing you give Cole back.
Oh yeah.
Can I just say, though, I'm getting married this year, and if Forest go up or not, I'm not having Kay's name tattooed on me.
Just to me, if I ever have a tattoo with my daughter, and that's it. No.
Get that tattoo, Ben. You should get that tattoo. The one on my arm.
What is it?
Forest badge. Forest badge.
If I ever got a tattoo, it'll be my daughter. But
I got 2. I got one on my leg as well.
Right. You know what? People, what I'll do, right? I'm gonna
That's
do
my
it now.
tattoo. Love of my life.
Yeah.
Love of my life.
Right. You know what, people? I'm gonna do it. Right. So Forest, I'm gonna do it live on here when this is the proof. So Forest go up the season, I'll have 2 tattoos. I'm gonna have a Forest tattoo and a tattoo with my daughter on. That's my bet.
Okay, Ben, hang on.
We'll go to the same parlour. You can have 2 tattoos, and I'll have one on my arse with my wife's name.
So that's my bet.
Ben,
that's my bet.
Ben, I'll up the ante a bit though. Right, that's the promotion. What would you do if we got to the FA Cup final?
Ooh.
Everyone's forgetting about that. We could potentially, I'm not jinxing it, we could potentially be going to a semi-final or final for the FA Cup.
What? Just the FA Cup final?
Yeah. And then if we win the FA Cup, you're talking, you may have to do a streak around the City ground.
You twat. I'm not doing that.
Jump in the trench.
Right. So if Forest get promoted, right, this is the first bet I'll do. If Forest get promoted, I'll get a tattoo with my daughter on and a Forest on my leg. Not my arm, my leg. Okay? So people, click this. I will have a tattoo if Forest get promoted. If Forest get to the FA Cup final.
If Forest get to the FA Cup final, I'll have a tattoo, and I've just said I'm not having a tattoo.
Right. People in the comments, and this is for you lot as well, because it's this fun. What should I do for the FA Cup final if Forest do get there? If Forest get there to the FA Cup final, I'm not gonna tell you, Steve, Des or Steve, because you'll say something stupid. So I'm not saying it, but that's something that we can talk about later on. But yeah, I will do something. I will do a bet if Forest gets to the final. Get to the final. Right. That's me said it. I'm done.
This season, we're just talking about it. This season's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking about promotion and FA Cup finals.
Right. Steve, I've just seen a comment from Gary Marriott. If Forest get promoted, this is for you, Steve. Wow, Steve.
Right.
You've got to get a Cooperman tattoo.
Me?
Yes.
I reckon.
Hang on now. What's that if we go up?
All 4 of us have got to get a tattoo. Now, I'll have a tattoo of my wife's name on the arm. I'm saying it now, guys. Ben could come and stream it live. It being done. Okay. Des has got to have a tattoo. Well, Steve's got to have a tattoo. And Ben Dore's got to have a tattoo. There you go. Forget about the FA Cup final. Let's get promoted. All 4 of us are having tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. Steve knows it. If Forest go up, I'll have a tattoo. I hate tattoos. I hate them. But that's the deal. This season. And that's it.
Yeah.
Des, do you agree?
Yeah.
Des, do you agree?
If they get to the cup final.
No.
No. If they get promoted. Yeah, so
I just said the funny second. Right? I'm confident to go up. I'm like, Dore, I hate tattoos.
I hate tattoos.
I've had 3 anyway.
I'm doing it. Well, no, I'm doing it. I'll have a tattoo. If Forest get promoted.
They do give you anaesthetic before you have your tattoo. It's called 8 cans of lager.
Well, okay, that's my bet. If Forest get promoted, I'll have a tattoo with the Forest logo and my daughter. But I'm not having a straight Forest tattoo and not my daughter one. So that's my bet, and that's it. Deal, everyone?
Yeah. I'm on. I'll have a tattoo of my wife's name.
Des?
Cup final.
Right, okay, Des and cup final. Cup final for Des.
Oh.
Okay. Right, well, we're nearly done now. We're gonna mention I'm gonna mention Steve Cooper now, and I mentioned this to you, Des. And again, he's going in with Malcolm yesterday, and I kept saying to him, this guy has changed Forest fans' opinion about him. Like what he's done for the club, outside as well, interacting with Forest fans, and like as you know, he does his free ups as well. And everyone's just happy as Larry. Like I said to you before, Des came out the ground and he was jumping like a little girl, jumping around like, yes! I've never seen Des so happy. And like, it's mad. And it's crazy, Des. Like, everyone's feeling so great. Like, let's talk about Twitter, especially Twitter. Everyone was down and out start of the season. And now everyone's just like, it's all positive, isn't it? So it's so good to see.
It just changed the mentality of everyone, hasn't he? Probably from the owner down to the cleaner, down to the us, and the most negative amongst us. You know, I try and be positive with the things I do daily. But when it comes to Forest, like most people, I'm eternally negative. And when it's going wrong, they give us a lot to moan about. I get frustrated when they ever go at the fans when it is going wrong, because there's lots of reasons it is going wrong, and we just pick them out. And then when we say it, we get called moaners and we're not backing it and we're not doing this. The point is, we do back them. I was saying on the way home with Ian in the car, we always get behind the managers. We get behind every single manager. When they come in. There's one or two, of course, where it doesn't, like Kushu, and it went to pot and things like that. But we do get behind them. We support the club. We go to Blackburn on a Wednesday night, and take so many people. So I think what he's just done is just created all that excitement. We can see what's happening again. Purely on a manager basis, we couldn't see what the last guy was doing. There was a comment someone made about, and I remember him saying it now. He said he didn't have the players to play attacking football. What a load of shit that is.
Cop-out.
And I said again last night, would Brennan Johnson be worth 20 million if Chris Hughton was still the manager? No. Not a chance.
He would have gone. He would have gone, Des. He would have gone.
He would have gone, but he wouldn't have gone for 20 million. He'd have gone for 5 million because he wasn't the player that Steve Cooper is today. You look at so not just tactically, which we've spoken about, not just lifting us as fans and making us forget about all the crap, because there's still plenty of crap. And we get it thrown in the face, where are the naysayers? It's still there, but of course we're not going to moan about it when it's going well. We've not got an agenda to hate Forest. We want to do well. So he's picked the fans up. He's sorted the team out. He's made players better. Ryan Yates is the obvious one, but Brennan Johnson's probably tripled his value. Spence, he's just become world class.
World class. Yep.
But the one for me as well, in terms of improving players, is Joe Worrall. People seem to. Joe Worrall's always been a great player, but I think he's making him an absolutely incredible leader. Just somebody who's on the pitch, regardless. That header, what we mentioned about the tackle header.
Yeah.
The celebration last night, the fact he's posting that picture. There was one incident early in the season, and I think it was the Preston game when we were 2-0 up early. Joe Worrall did something, sort of tried to be a little bit cute and clever, and Cooper had called him out for it at the time. He called him out on Radio Nottingham. He said Joe Worrall shouldn't be doing flicks when we're 2-0 up and things like this. And again, he's just reminding all these players. I noticed on Sunday, Samba made that save at the end, what was a real decent save. Yeah. And then he kicked it long. And Cooper and Alan Tate both come out the dugout and absolutely tore into Samba. And again, it just made me think they're not that bothered about the kick going straight into the other half. I think there was just bringing him back down to earth. We know when Samba's done something good, he gets a little bit too excited. He gets too involved in what's going on.
He gets bored. He gets bored. That's what you get.
But I think what they're doing is reminding him that he's got to do everything proper. So he's not, like I say, he's not just making great tactics, making us believe. He's making players better. He's making the club money. He's filling the stadium. It's the whole thing, isn't it? And I see him looking up at. I've kind of got this thing where I watch managers as well as watching the game. I kind of watch for reactions. And I saw him when they're singing his name and singing the songs yesterday, discreetly in a way, he's kind of looking up, even though we're a long way away and you have to notice, so it can't be that discreet. Kind of looking up, and I think he's taking it all in, soaking it all in, and you can see he's enjoying his job. And how many managers go into a football club and enjoy being a football manager? You've seen it with Frank Lampard at Derby. He looked about 10 years older. Good-looking bloke. And then when he walked out, he was like a mess. but, do you know what I mean? And it's everything. It's the full package. It's the whole lot, and he's working. He's obviously working as well with Dane Murphy. I've said many times I don't really get involved in the admin side of football because I back in the day, me and Steve Oldham will remember, we never heard about the admin side of football. But it's working, obviously. He's got a great relationship with Murphy. They're on the same page. When have we had this harmony in the last... since Frank Clark, probably, because obviously Paul Hart didn't have the best relationship with the board. Billy Davis didn't have the best relationship. You've got a guy here who's he's a born winner. And he's turning Forest into winners rather than being losers in every situation we go in, because that's what we've been for the last 20 years. Yeah, we've had flashpoints, but we've been a team of losers, and he's making us sort of a real sort of look at the way people are looking in the media as well. They're purring over us. Stan Collymore, Henry Winter. These guys are absolutely sort of purring over the club again, and that's brilliant. That's what we need, because that is what instills the belief and makes Forest an exciting place to be, but a frightening place to come. So for me, it's just that there.
Did anyone hear what Alan Shearer said about us on Match of the Day on the game? Alan Shearer said after the game, obviously you guys at the game, when the Forest players go on the pitch clapping, he said this is the Premiership outfit in the making.
100%.
That's what he said. And Shearer's, the greatest Premiership striker of all time, and he's been at a little club. He's praising.
So what's that, Steve Oden?
He said, didn't he? This club needs to be in the Premier League. We need this club in the Premier League.
Right now, I think right now, like on form, like you say, when people say, "Do you deserve to be in the Premier League?" In the past, we haven't because we've not been good enough. But at this moment of time, on the way,
I get that. Sorry, Ben, go on.
No, I was just saying that right now, the way that we've been playing, why not? I think we've got the players, and I think we deserve it. But yeah, come on, Steve. Welsh.
Do you know what I get down? This part of the world, obviously, where I live, I'm very few and far between of being a Forest fan. But yeah, I get a lot of abuse down here. But what I do get as well, a lot of my mates
too much abuse.
Like you've been up the Premiership way too long. You know, a lot of a lot of my mates who support other teams, they want Forest back up there. They like Forest. Like they even telling me, like, you know, you play your football games like Championship Manager and stuff. They go Forest because they just got like this growth. Like, I'm 39, so a lot of my mates grew up watching football through the 90s, and they remember Forest. They always bring up like Brian Roy, Stan Collymore, Ian Rowan, Steve Stone. These great players. They remember the Premiership Forest. And they always say, like, why you've been down there so long, 20 years? I just say because of management, you know, boards, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I do get some friends who say, you know, this and that about Forest, you deserve to be down there. You're not a big club anymore. And this goes down to the debate of, you know, what do you define as a big club? And I tell my mates, we are a big club. Like,
a big club.
You listen to a lot of ex-Forest players, they say, you won't see the true sides of this club until they're back in the Premier League. The potential we have. And I say that to my mates. I said, you don't understand how big our club is. And they go, oh, you just living off the past, the European Cup, Spring Club, and so on. I just ignore them because I know how big. I don't live in the area. I'm not a Nottingham boy. I'm a Forest fan through and through. But I know, not just off the history, how big and how potential, like what Shearer was saying, we need to be back in the Premier League. Because we can show then our full potential as a club.
Well, I was speaking to Glenn before the Millwall game. Obviously, Glenn lives in Millwall country. You know, Glenn, who's obviously known to Dore and DoreOnTour, and he said Millwall have got a massive problem with Forest because they call us bottlers, and they've got every justification to call us bottlers. But I turned around to Glenn and said, well, if we're the bottlers, they should consider us just a similar team to them. You know, because they're a bang average Championship team. What the likes of Leicester do is give you hope. You know, and what we did all those years ago, but Leicester's obviously a lot more recent. You've got to cling on to that hope. But what you've got to earn your right to play football and get promoted. And this is what Cooper's doing. He's reminded the players all the time that they're better than they believe they are. You know, you need somebody telling you when you're doing something well. He's telling them it's a big club. They're getting that winning mentality. And that's what it boils down to. Because for so long, like you say, with your friends and the Millwall fans, I'm talking with Glenn, it's just been, they look on us as losers, perennial losers. Yeah. We can mess up any situation as the Swansea playoff game, you know.
Oh, don't mention the Stoke game. Don't mention the Stoke game.
But all of a sudden, we're turning into a team of winners. You know, we're winning games well. We're winning them hard fought. You know, we're winning games we shouldn't. You know, yes, you're always going to get the odd bad result. That's football. But all of a sudden, you can see this mentality and the confidence within the club, within the city. You know I'm at work. I work in an NHS office full of women. They never talk about football. All of a sudden, I can hear conversations about Forest playing well at the weekend, and I really want Forest to go up. And that, you know, starts sort of. It's like a virus, isn't it? It starts spreading. It's the feel good that picks everyone up, and then everyone starts believing, and all of a sudden you've got bigger crowds, you've got people believing. You know, you've got Forest fans in other parts of the like you, Steve. At some point, you've seen good in Forest. You know, if it was a Rochdale, you want supporters, and it's creating that real feel good, and that's what Cooper has just reminded everybody that this is where we should be, and he's dragging it up there very quickly.
Sorry, Des, you're talking to me then about the...
Yeah.
Yeah, because I grew up, like a lot of people ask me why I support Forest and so on. I grew up watching Forest and then Premiership years. My favourite player of all time is Stuart Peters. And that's why I got that link with Forest. But what I'm getting now, when I walk around my local area, my Forest top on, I'm getting people out coming up to me going, oh, what a win you had against Leicester. See, Cooper's putting us on the map again. He's making that positive vibe. He's getting, like, people come up to me going, whoa, what a job Cooper's doing there. You battering Leicester, you beat Arsenal. You know, you've only lost like 4 games in 20 matches and so on. He's putting us back. Yes, I have got some friends who remain quiet now. And as soon as Forest lose, they jump on the bandwagon. That's always going to happen. But I'm getting a lot more positive vibes now, what Cooper's doing, than we've had in the last X amount of years. Because like you've all said, we've just been classed as a team of bottlers and just, Forest are just down there. They think they're big, but they're not.
Well, people... Steve.
Two things quickly. Firstly, last night, this day, someone put on Twitter Cooper doing his fist pumps, yeah? All right? He put on his fist pump, yeah? Doing his fist pump. If you look at it, if you find it, look just behind. The players are applauding the manager.
Yeah.
There's not many times you see players applauding the manager, yeah? They're clapping the manager. And one other thing, when we go up this year to the Premier League, all right, because we're going up, all right, the owner will make sure we stay up. We ain't coming down. All right.
You know what?
He trusts his back. We will stay up. I'll
you know
tell
what?
you that now.
Before we go, I saw there's a few comments as well. I'm talking about Marinakis, and this was I was about to talk to you, Steve, Alden, about him. Like, no one spoke about him. Like, we kept players like Brendan Johnson. We kept Spence. We brought in like some quality players, especially Steve Cook as well. Like, he doesn't get mentioned, but he's got to get mentioned today. Like, he's been great with us, hasn't he?
Yeah, and also I think if you look in January, normally we used to have seasons ago we had 15 loans coming in January, didn't we? But this year we had 1 loan in January, which was Davis. And the other 4 are all permanent signings, which says to you they're going a different way how they're looking at it. They're getting them in permanently.
I was looking at this from Andrew. Des talked a good game. I think he's better than Steve Cooper. You think listen, Des in a high hope. He's on a high horse. He's on form, aren't you, Des? He's happy as Larry.
Can I just make a point about Marinakis? The best thing Marinakis has done for Forest, because I have slated him in the past when it was going wrong. You know, I didn't have an agenda against him. I wanted Forest to win. The best thing he's done is kind of, without saying it publicly, is admitted his mistakes. You know, with who he's brought into the club to make the big decisions.
Yanis.
You know, he's almost gone back to basics. I'm not saying Dane Murphy's basics, but he knows the Championship. We've got a manager that knows the Championship. We're signing players that play in the Championship. You know, all this Portuguese experiment and signing players from Olympiacos and moving in between clubs. The best thing Marinakis can do is kind of keep quiet and let them do their job.
100%.
You know, and then he'll get all the respect he needs from Forest fans.
Right, people. I think it's time to go. We had a fantastic show. Yeah, people. Like I said, everyone's a bit happy, as Larry. Yeah.
Tell Andrew to follow Do Daily, by the way, if he's not here.
Right, yeah, that I was. But like people,
I've subscribed.
Right, people. There's 124 people in. Can people, all of you, 124, subscribe to Do Daily? His link is below. Dave, do you want to do a little plug before we leave?
What, another one?
There's 124 people in. Go and put a little plug before we go.
Come on, get me to 300. All it is me just talking more rubbish than I spoke today. Just about the things I do. I just enjoy certain things. Running, you know, it's not all about running. Some mental health. I talk about a guy who changed my perspective a few years ago. It's nothing technical. I'm not trying to tell anybody they should do this, they should do that. It's my experience every day, 5 or 10 minutes, just to try and make people feel positive about what they're doing. That's all I'm doing. Part of DoreOnTour, part of going to away games has made me feel fantastic this year. and I kind of club it all together and talk about it. So it's not football, it's not winning, it's not mental health. It's just a bit of everything. You'll find me walking around the Trent most days, just rambling away.
So yeah, people, like I said, I've said Des' channel, the link is below. Make sure you do subscribe to his channel. And like I said, before I go, I have mentioned again, I've got the Kevin Campbell show on the Thursday, the 28th of April. If you want tickets, message me, message Des. We'll sort you out because it's going to be a fantastic show. I'm excited. When I spoke to Kevin about it, he said, Ben, make it happen. And I'm gonna give a massive shout out to Lisa Fox as well and Malcolm Owen, because if it wasn't for them as well, this kind of thing won't be happening. So I'm gonna give a massive shout out to Lisa Fox and Malcolm Owen as well. People, it's been a great show. Like I said, people, and as well, I want to do a plug as well. It's all about do daily as well. I'm close to 6K. I am 65 away from 6K, 65 subs. So if you're not pleased, because there's 115 people here, subscribe to me. I am 65 away. I might do a special prize, a special treat to someone out there who does sub as well. So like I said, subscribe to me. Subscribe to Mr. Do Daily as well. Get him to 300. Like I said, I like to support every YouTube channel. I'm not like other YouTubers that don't like to support others and that. But yeah, Steve, thank you very much for coming on. Steve
exactly,
Oldham.
Ben.
Before we go, and I want to give a shout out to Steve Oldham, because if no one knows, the Forest and Leicester game, he got the score right. He got the 4-1 right, didn't you, Steve?
Right.
Yeah.
That's mad, because Steve Oldham.
This guy.
Can I just say one thing about that? Steve Oldham,
Yeah.
did you have any odds on that? On the odds of Forest beating Leicester 4-1?
No, someone said to me, he said to me, what do you think the score is? I'm absolutely gutted. I never put a bet. And I just went, yeah, we'll beat 4-1. Do you know what I mean?
You may have 100 to 1 for that.
Yeah, I bet you I would have done. But hey, you know what I mean.
Oldham, I'm not going to mention the other guy's channel, but he got the score right. He said 4-1. I couldn't believe it. So Steve, everyone give a round of applause to Steve Oldham, because he got the result right. It was against Leicester City as well, 4-1, and it was I couldn't believe it. I watched it, and he got it right. So well done to Steve. But like I said, people, I'm back tomorrow for the preview with Stoke. I've got a Stoke fan with me, so I'll be back there for 9 o'clock. Like I said, please get me to 6K. Subscribe to Do Daily as well. Steve Oldham, thank you very much. Steve Wells, thank you very much as well.
Saturday, Ben. Saturday. I love the game.
Yeah, I see. Well, Steve,
that's my fist bump.
Steve is there with me on Saturday as well. He's sitting next to me, so I'll be annoying him. But like I said, people, thank you very much for everyone. And for the 106 people, I think there's 130 people watching this as well. So thank you for having your time. People, believe it's our season. We could do it. And I said, wait, before we do go, I've seen Steve Oldham's message on Twitter. Steve, I've seen your Twitter. I can't even retweet it. Why can't I retweet it?
That?
Steve Oldham's
Which one are you talking to?
on Twitter. I can't retweet it.
Oh.
Why?
I can't retweet it. I can't retweet your message. You can't retweet it.
I'll put it on again.
Yeah, no. You still can't retweet it. Steve, I think Steve's old. He doesn't understand social media, so that's the problem with it.
Yeah.
He doesn't get social media. Right, people, they get going. But like I said, people, it's been a fantastic show. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock with Stoke Fan preview time. But like I said as well, people, if you've not saw the vlog, go and watch it. I've never seen Des so happy. He jumped like a little kid.
I've not seen the vlog yet. I'm going to go and watch it.
Yeah, you were skipping like a He was proper like, yeah.
But yeah, people,
I'll go watch it before I go to sleep.
Right, people, thank you very much for. And I said I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Peace and love. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds.
The Reds.